What's up, guys? I am fired up. I got the rally cap on because we're talking about the NFC East, and I'm ready to dive right in right about now. All right, what's up, guys? I've cooled down a little bit, but I'm still right about here. All right, and we're gonna talk about the NFC East, and I think the NFC East is like every year is such a tight division. It's kind of like the AFC North. A lot of contenders this year. I think there are really two contenders, mainly just one, but we're gonna get into it. Starting with the Dallas Cowboys. Now I have the Dallas Cowboys going 10-6 this year and 3-3 in their division, as you can see. Now, we all know the Cowboys. It starts with that offensive line, and with that offensive line, Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, top 2, top 3 back, depending on who you ask. I have him my second best running back behind Saquon Barkley. I'll talk about him later. The Cowboys offense, they go and get Amari Cooper last year. They have some weapons. Dak, is he a $30 million quarterback? I don't think so. I don't think you can convince me otherwise. He will get paid, but who knows? Zeke getting suspended could hurt them a little bit, but I still think the Cowboys are a well-oiled machine. I think that offensive line can carry any team. And yeah, also Randall Cobb. I like Randall Cobb. Good signing. Dak needs all the weapons he can get, especially guys that can run after the catch, because Dak obviously can't push the ball too far down the field. Now, their defense. Their defense is a top defense, as we saw last year, and I think they're only going to even get better this year. They lost David Irving because he likes to, but that's all good. They're still solid. D-line's good. DeMarcus Lawrence, boy, did he get paid? Hopefully he got paid. I think he got paid. Whatever. Dude's a beast. Top 5 defensive end in the league. Great run stopper. Solid rushing the passer, but really just a bully. And then you got, the two, twin-headed, double-headed sword dragons, whatever you want to call them, in Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, the two bright young pieces of that defense. They are both spectacular. Leighton Vander Esch had a Defensive Rookie of the Year season, if not for Darius Leonard. And Jalen Smith finally showed us what he did in Notre Dame. Finally came back from that injury. Looks like a monster. And to have two good linebackers, you're set for a long time. Okay secondary, not an amazing secondary, but I think with their front seven, the amount of pressure they're going to get and their ability to stop the run is going to hurt any defense. It's going to scare them a lot. Byron Jones, very solid. They also have very solid other smaller corners, like his name is Uzabuki, something like that. Sorry, I can't remember his first name. It's something with a C. But he's solid. But yeah, defense, pretty good. I think there'll be another top 10 defense this year, top 5. Top 3, number 1 maybe. So that's the Dallas Cowboys. I have their best win, Week 12 in New England. This is just a big win. A lot of the teams that their best wins, or if they beat New England, is probably one of your best wins of the year. Thanks, Super Bowl champs. Worst loss is Week 17 versus the Redskins. Now, obviously, they beat the Redskins. That's 11-5. That's just a confidence thing. Redskins kind of play spoil. You don't want to lose to the Redskins. All right, next team we're going into is the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants have been in the headlines a lot because of their rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones, who actually recently had a pretty good bit of action in their first preseason game, went 5 for 5 with a touchdown, about 85 yards. Eli Manning did not play much. I think people are overreacting. I think Eli's still going to get the starting nod to start the season because he is Eli Manning. He's won them 2 Super Bowls. He deserves just that. Now, the offensive line, they go out and get a guy like Kevin Zeitler from the Browns. I think an underrated trade they made. That offensive line, though, is still kind of trash. Nate Solder's an overpaid left tackle. Will Hernandez is a nice young piece. But again, that offensive line has a lot of meshing to do and a lot of progress. Now, when it comes to their weapons, obviously all 4 of their receivers are either getting hurt or suspended for Viagra. Come on now. Ocho Cinco did that. I know we've all seen the clip. He didn't get suspended. What are you doing, NFL? But all right, whatever. So number 1 target's obviously going to be Evan Ingram. He's going to be a top 5 tight end this year. Dude is a beast. He had some issues catching the ball. His hands, hopefully they developed a lot more. He has solid hands, but just his speed, he's a game changer. I expect him to be the #1 threat for whoever the quarterback ends up being by the end of the year. Yeah, and then Saquon. What can be said about Saquon? Animal, beast, #1 running back in the league, unstoppable, can literally do it all. Best running back I've seen since Adrian Peterson, and I think there's no debate about that. He is an animal. And then for their defense, I like what they did with their defense. In the first round of the draft, you go get Dexter Lawrence, who's a great guy. I think he can kind of take that role that Snacks Harrison had. Damon Harrison, Snacks. That'll be nice for them. They go and get a guy like DeAndre Baker in the late first round, who the only reason he wasn't a higher pick, I feel, is because he didn't test that well. A 4.57 is solid. You know, we've seen guys that run 4.6s who have been solid corners in this league, and he's actually looked pretty good. He'll have a good yin and yang with Janoris Jenkins on the other side. I think they're going to have an improved defense. I love Jabril Peppers that they got him from the Browns. He's a very solid safety, and last year he showed us that he can actually reach or at least tease that potential that we all saw when he was coming out of Michigan. Now their linebacking core is not really anyone standing out there. Alec Ogletree, he had a solid year last year, but he's still not the best tackler. He had a couple picks, but yeah, that defense still has a lot of work to happen. Offense is the same way. That's why I have them going again 4-12 and 2-4 in their division. A lot of question marks still. Now their best win is Week 17 versus Philadelphia. Now this win holds Philly out of the playoffs, and I think that is awesome. No one in that division likes Philly. No one in that division likes any of the other teams, and that'd be awesome, you know, to get that win. That's one of their few wins that year, and they get to play spoil against the Eagles. Excuse me. Now, their worst loss is going to be Week 15 versus my Dolphins. Because who wants to lose the Dolphins this year? They're supposed to be the worst team in the NFL. I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL. If you go back to my video of the AFC East, I actually think they're going to be solid. 5 wins. But that's a bad loss. The Dolphins aren't very good. And if you're a Giants fan, you're not going to be happy with that loss. Next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, who I have going 9-7 and 3-3 in their division. Now, Eagles are getting a lot of hype. I think they're the highest rated team on Madden, which I think is just crazy. But I digress. Can Carson Wentz come back? He keeps getting injured. He looked like an MVP his sophomore year, and then he got injured. He was the front runner for the MVP. People will be talking about him the same way they're talking about Patrick Mahomes, but he keeps getting injured. So we got to see, can he come back from another injury and be fine? Because if he can come back from the injury and be fine, I think they could be, the best team in the NFC. But I don't buy it. I think he's going to keep getting injured. I think going 9-7. I like their running back. Jordan Howard isn't a true one, but they also have Miles Sanders back there and Corey Clement. I really like Miles Sanders from Penn State. It was a good pick by them. I think he fits them well for what they like to do. He can run, he can catch, he can kind of do it all. Wide receiver depth, they have great depth. They have Aguilar, you have Alshon Jeffrey, and then you add Deshaun Jackson, bring him back to his Philly days. He was one of the most exciting players in Philly from my time watching football. And then you got Zach Ertz, a top 3 tight end in the league. They have weapons galore, and they have an amazing offensive line. They've had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL for probably the last 5 years. And you can go even farther back than that. If you look at some of their earlier teams, kind of in the 2008, 2012 range. And so, yeah, I like their offense. On paper, they look like they could be a top offense in the league, but can Wentz stay healthy is the main concern. Now their defensive line is solid. They have Brandon Graham, headlined by Fletcher Cox, though, who is a very underrated player, even though people say he is a top 5 defensive end, top 5 defensive tackle, my mistake. He's an amazing talent. If not for Aaron Donald, he'd be talked about as the most dominant defensive tackle in the league, but Aaron Donald's alive. So, sorry you don't get that. Linebacking core, pretty weak. I think we can all agree. No real stars there. Yeah, and I think linebacking core is, I don't know, I think it's the most important position in football. If you see teams that have top linebackers, they tend to have top defenses because that's your quarterback on the defensive side, and I think that will really hurt a team. And then we talk about their secondary. Obviously, Malcolm Jenkins is a very solid safety, but at corner, it's tough. I know people are high on Maddox, Vontae Maddox. He's a cornerback. He looked solid last year. I saw him in the playoffs. He's a pretty solid corner. I know Eagles fans are kind of high on him. My only thing is you need to have a true one. Sorry about that. You need to have a true one, and they don't really have a true number one cornerback. And yes, they have pass rushers, but that's secondary. It's got some holes in it, and I think they could struggle throughout the year when they face teams with a deep receiving core. And for their best win, I have Week 16 versus Dallas. Now, this win keeps them in the playoff hunt. Again, I have them going 9-7. You know, they win this game. You're 9-8. You're 9-6. You're thinking you can go 10-6. That makes the playoffs, and Dallas beats them. That just stings a little bit. And then their worst loss is Week 17 at New York. Same reason it was the best win for the Giants is the reason it's the worst loss for the Eagles. It sucks. It sucks. You don't make the playoffs and you lose to the Giants. That sucks. All right. So that's the Eagles for me. Now, final team, the Washington Redskins. I'm a lot higher on the Redskins than a lot of people are, and it's just because I love their defense. But I have the Redskins going 9-7 and 4-2 in their division, actually having the best record in their division. Starts off, who's going to be their quarterback? Dwayne Haskins was kind of shaky in his first preseason game. He threw 2 picks, didn't look crazy solid, made good throws, but also had errors, as you can tell if you watch him. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to be your starting quarterback. They're going to let it ride with him. I was hearing about Jay Gruden's. He put himself in the hot seat. He needs to win games this year, and I think he's the quarterback that gives you the best chance to do that with Alex Smith still recovering from an injury. Running back depth is actually pretty nice. You know, they go and get Bryce Love in the 4th round, who was a first-round talent until he got injured. They have Adrian Peterson, who's coming off a 1,000-year season. He looked very solid. Obviously didn't look like prime Adrian Peterson, but he turned the clock a little bit. Looked solid. And then Darius Geis, who in the preseason looked like a monster, got injured. I think he's obviously going to be a beast this year. I'm not saying a top 5 back or anything like that, but obviously he'll be a solid running back. Another big question, Trent Williams. He wants out. He doesn't want to play for Washington anymore. And it's understandable. He spent his prime years on a team that's just mediocre. One bright spot was when they had RG3 rookie year, and people said, are we about to be nice? And then no, RG3 got hurt. But yeah, Trent Williams has been through all that, and he's tired of it. And so you lose him, your franchise left tackle, that's going to hurt your team a lot. Their offensive line isn't that good as is. But you lose Trent Williams, it's really going to hurt. Hopefully he can stay on the team. They can convince him to stay and kind of help anchor that offensive line and keep some pressure off their rookie quarterback. Wide receivers. Josh Doxson mostly needs to step up. You talk about a team that has a lot of guys who would be 2 or 3s on other teams. You have Josh Doxson, who has to be this team's 1, and he was a first-round pick, and he has not lived up to it. He has not been solid. But I do like Kelvin Harmon. They drafted him in the 6th round from NC State. I didn't like him, obviously, in the first couple rounds, but I like that they snagged him. He's a big body guy, strong hands, possession receiver. That can really help, especially with having a rookie quarterback that needs wide receivers with strong hands. And then lastly, Jordan Reed, who in 2013, 2014, we were wondering if he's the next bright spot in the tight end position. Since then, he's got injured a couple times, had a couple injury-riddled seasons. I hope he can get back to where he was. But now the main reason I think the Redskins are going to be very good is because of their defense. Their front 7 is nice. Adding Montez Sweat, who is just a freak off the edge. Even if he doesn't progress that much as a pass rusher, he's so freakish. I think he'll still get, he can still be a 10-plus sacks guy just because how fast he is off the edge. They have Matt Ioannidis, Ryan Kerrigan, a very slept-on outside linebacker and pass rusher, and more. They have also Jonathan Allen. They also have Daron Payne. That defensive line is loaded. Inside linebackers need some work, but if they're getting to the pass rusher, like I think they will, it's going to be very hard to do anything to that defense. And then they add Landon Collins, who was a great safety, Pro Bowl safety. Obviously paid him a lot of money. You know, it's tough when you pay a safety that much money because he has to perform, but I do think he can do that. I do think he's at that level where he can perform. So I like that. Obviously, Josh Norman, he leads a cornerback core that's, but then they add DRC, helps out a little bit. Hopefully he can actually end up getting back to kind of how he was at one point with the Giants, and he can start opposite of Josh Norman, and there you go. That's a pretty solid defense. To me, that's a top 5 defense, and they're young. So yeah, I really like the Redskins defense, and that's why I think defense and run game with okay play from their quarterback, I think can get them 9 wins. Now their best win is week 17 at Dallas. Yeah, that's just a nice win. Dallas is the division winner that year, and I think it's just nice to beat them and finish 9-7 with a winning record. That's a nice change of pace for Redskin fans. Worst loss is going to be week 1 in Philly. That's just you don't want to come out the season losing, especially with the Redskins' track record. They want to come out, get a win. I think week 1 they lose to Philly pretty bad with a rookie quarterback. So yeah, that's the NFC East. I'm trying to make these videos a little quicker. So I'm sorry if I glanced over some players that maybe you wanted to talk about. You know, now do you agree with me? Do you agree with my rankings? Or no? Let me know. For real. Comment down below. And then let me know if you're excited for whatever division I'm going to do next. It might be the NFC North. It might be the NFC West. It might be the NFC South. Who knows? But be on the lookout, because it's coming. All right, guys? Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Peace out.